Hello! Welcome in, everyone. Hope you're all having a good one. Still getting set up here. Sorry for the slightly rushed start. My name is Pixelriffs. Welcome to your Tuesday Minecraft live stream. It is Choppin Tuesday. I am just making a quick YouTube post. I have no idea what screenshot to use for this. Alright, 2 seconds. Twitch.tv/Pixelriffs. Completely surrounded by glass. Come hang out while we chop some fresh resources. Alright, that should do. And now face. Hello! Choppin Tuesday, but it's Wednesday for you. Tuesday is a state of mind, my friends. So Jen, thank you for the raid. And Luscitrea, not sure how to pronounce your name, but thank you so much for the raid as well. Mavis Nightwine, thank you for the 14 months. And Erin and Snail and Collie, thank you so much for the sub and the resub. The Dreadnought also coming in with a raid. Wow, back-to-back raids. So many people today. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. It's chilly in the UK today, and I have a cup of tea, so I'm staying warm around that. The heating should come on in a bit as well. Is the shot at the beginning of my streams real footage with a separate camera, or is it pre-recorded footage? It's pre-recorded. It's something that I shot a little while ago, and I've added stuff to what you see behind me since then. So, yeah, that was one of the few shots in which the creeper little lamp thing actually had batteries in it, so the light was working. These days the lights are so they're not working. The batteries have run down. Snail and Collie are the first one to pronounce my name right. Well, it's like melancholy but with snail, right? It's not that hard as far as I can tell, but there you go. Anyway, today we're going to be on Empires. We're going to be back on Empires doing a bit of Choppin Tuesday stuff. I'm probably just going to look through my storage system and ask, what do I actually need for a project I've got coming up? Probably mostly looking at stone types, so we might end up doing some caving, some strip mining somewhere, just to get a bunch of resources and whatnot. And then, yeah, we'll see what else we need. We might chop some trees, that kind of thing, but it's going to be a bit more freeform jazz today. It's currently dark, so I need to sleep. There we go. Luckily, the bed is very close by. Unusually warm there in Tennessee, and you two have a cup of tea. Well, fair play. I'm, yeah, going to hop on down into the storage system, and there we go. Do I still need tons of glass? No, I'm finished with the glass. As you will see in tomorrow's video. So we have a ton of basalt. We have a decent amount of tuff. I'm thinking we probably need more tuff. Black stone might be a good call, actually. I might go and see if we can do a bit of netherite mining and blast our way to some more black stone. The rest of the stone types we're probably good for. And I've got a fair amount of natural stone and cobblestone just from digging out the room below. We should have a fair amount of that downstairs. Introverted people, thank you for the 10 months. Back from abroad, glad to be watching some Choppin. Hey, welcome back. Hope you had a good trip. So, in here, yeah, we have loads of natural stone in here. So that I'm less worried about. And I think there should be a fair bit of, yeah, cobblestone bits and pieces in here as well. That's all looking good. No copper returns yet, because I only refilled that recently. There's some natural deep slate in there as well, and a couple of stacks of tuff. I think blackstone is probably what we need. Sunburn, and thanks so much for the 8 months of Prime. Welcome back. Is it cool if we give your name for the Minecraft Meet a Minecrafter segment they're working on? I mean, sure, but my story isn't especially remarkable, you know? Like, I feel like I'm just a Minecraft content creator. A lot of the people they're looking for the Meet a Minecrafter thing are a bit more interesting than just the average content creator. Like, Logic Pro X Gaming is blind. That you had a couple of folks on there who were, you know, using Minecraft in really interesting ways in education or whatever else, or like causes that are really important. Like, I'm pretty sure they had Janie Laney on there talking about Black Minecraft, stuff like that. I'm just like bog standard Minecraft content creator. Sunburn, and thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Very generous of you. Thank you very much. And Zephyro with the 2 months. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Lots of people said Etho for that. I can't see Etho ever doing that. I know, right? Like, you talk to the world's most anonymous man about what it's like to be an anonymous Minecraft content creator. Although, to be fair, Etho would be kind of a fascinating story because of the amount of stuff he kind of pioneered in terms of technical Minecraft, but I feel like it's also not the kind of person that they'd end up doing like a whole piece about. Zephyro, thank you for gifting those 5 subs as well. So generous of you. Secondhand Phoenix, thank you for the 15 months and 5... Why is everybody, like, resubbing or subscribing and then just gifting 5 subs? Is that, like... Is that what's happening today? You're not just bog standard, you have your own flair, and the guides you do have helped a lot of people learn Minecraft. Sure, but I'm also by far not the, like, the preeminent Minecraft tutorial creator, even. Like, there are so many people who are more deserving of it than I am. Oh, hello. I don't know why I have easy place mode on. I haven't really been using Lightmatica. Right. Yeah, I think Blackstone is probably going to be where it's at. I want to add flame to my bow if we're going to do this. Stellaris Lex, thank you for gifting 5 subs. Darkstorm with the 3 months of Prime. Thank you so much for the 3 months. Do I have a flame book anywhere? Am I likely to get flame from any of this? I think one of the villagers in Hermitopia has flame, so I might go and buy a book from them. Maribel Jade, that's such a weird, like, a deep cut reference that I feel like most people probably aren't gonna take that the way it's intended. Or maybe are gonna take it the way it's intended if you intend for mischief. We're at level 3 on the hype train already. Gosh, it's been a while. Inventory is so neat. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I just had glass in my inventory for the last little while. So now, as you can see over here at Hermitopia, I mean, you can't really see it all that easily, but there is now a big glass case around the entire thing. It stops like there, and that is just 1 block above everything that was built there. The arms still stick out the front. Everything else. U of M, thank you so much for the 2-year resub. Appreciate that very much. Can rely on Tuesday always being shopping. Well, for the week beginning, what would it be like? Calendar, the 30th. There'll be a Choppin Tuesday next week, but that will basically be my last stream before I go away to the United States. So there will be 3 weeks where there isn't going to be a Choppin Tuesday, unfortunately. But hey, let's not worry too much about that. So who's got flame out of this bunch? Multi-shot, quick charge, etc. I feel sure there was somebody who had a flame. Oh, this guy, yeah. This guy has flame for 14 emeralds, though. That's, like, kind of expensive, I feel like, for flame. Power 2. Sweeping edge, fire aspect. Maybe I've been looking at fire aspect. I'm thinking that guy. Oh yeah, Silk Touche over here, and Curse of Binding, Respiration, Mending, Multi-Shot. Yeah, I think it's just this guy then. Alright, well, we'll buy a Flame Book, because I guess I need it at this point. It's either that or Flint and Steel, and I prefer not to do Flint and Steel. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be the first time I've been to the States for a while. It's, I think winter of 2019 was the last time I was out there. Will I replace Skulk in other places, or is that service closed? Oh yeah, I'm planning on cleaning up at other people's bases still if they want me to. It's just a matter of getting that transaction happening on camera so that I can make some content out of it at least. Jimmy keeps saying how bad he needs it. Well, Jimmy needs to get in touch with me on Discord or something then, because I've only heard of that secondhand through his followers, so Jimmy needs to drop me a line. Is it Florida I'm going to? No, California. Other side. Wrong coast. Did I collect all of Ren's bits and bobs? Nope, not yet. Haven't really had the time. Let's see. Yeah, I've mostly been focusing on stuff I wanted to get done before I went away. So, glass case around Hermitopia, David tutorial, all that kind of stuff. Sylvan, thank you for the 14 months. If I make it north to Oregon, come visit. I won't, unfortunately. It's not so much like a traveling trip. It's more of a visiting family kind of trip. Because my partner's family lives out there. So, yeah, I won't be making it out to any other landmarks in the US. It's going to be a long flight. Always is. And boy, are my arms tired, etc. I assume we're going to have to dig a little bit of sand for this. Because despite the fact that I have a ton of glass now, I don't have a ton of sand. Dream96, thanks so much for the 5 gifted subs. Very kind of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, we've only got a little bit of sand there, so we'd probably have to go and gather some of that. Well, let's go chop some sand then. And then we'll look into getting blackstone from a few places. Alternatively, we go and just take down a bastion somewhere. You know what? I kind of like that idea more now that I think about it. Like the idea of just destroying a bastion. It sort of seems antithetical to what I do generally, but... Is sand duplication out of the picture? I mean, it's just too complicated, really. Like, it's not the kind of thing that we want to do on this server. Like, we haven't even done much in the way of, like, TNT duplication, but cannibalizing an end portal and the end dimension for the stuff that you need to set up a proper sand duper that isn't just, like, duplicating shulker boxes or whatever. That's kind of not where we want to be going with it. Preserving the Empire is not the Nether. True, and if we go and take down a bastion somewhere, who's going to know?
Well, that's just prime.
Nobody really goes into the Nether anyway. Although it does occur to me that I should probably have some gold armor if we're going to do this. Because the piglins attacking me constantly would be a bit of a pain. Just joined, you're new to Twitch? Welcome in. Welcome to Twitch. It's a fun place. Stick around for the entire stream. We'll raid somebody else, and you might find somebody that you've never seen before. That is the joy of this platform. Do I have any gold armor these days? Did I, like, leave any anywhere? Can rearrange some of this now that it's no longer necessary to keep the glass separate from everything else. Backup gear. Do I have any gold armor in here? Nope. No, I do not. Frog lights in there. Really not much in the way of gold armor then, huh? There might be some in these, like, miscellaneous chests around here. No, apparently not. Gold tools in there. Momo, thank you for the 29 months. And Lion Guru with the 10. Thank you very much. How do you think Mojang should handle renewable sand, or should they leave it as is? I would love there to be giant worms in the desert that you kill and their entire body mass turns into sand. So that you end up with, like, a giant mob to fight, some kind of new challenge in the game, but also a way of getting renewable sand that is farmable but more complicated. And, like, sandworms are a kind of fantasy tropey thing, but you can do a lot with a concept like that. Yeah, like Dune vibes, exactly. Like The Maker or whatever. Like, you could do some fun stuff with that, I reckon. Let's go with a helmet instead of boots. I feel like I tend to prefer having feather falling and that kind of stuff on the boots, just in case. Bless you. Off-camera sneezes. Unbreaking 3. Might as well enchant this. We've got the levels. Oh, I just put it on. Protection 4. Nice. At least having Unbreaking means that I don't end up having issues with that later. Giant worm you can only fight while riding a camel? Yeah, maybe. My constant burden in Minecraft. Where did I store all my stuff? Yeah, same. Voided Mirror, thank you for the 7 months. Sandworm is way more interesting than a husk farm. Yeah, the problem with husks is that they don't spawn if there's a block over their head, so it's actually quite difficult to farm them. And now they're making scaffolding unspawnable in the next update, I think. It's going to be even harder to farm husks. Because whenever I've done Skyblock in the past, and they've had a couple of data packs in Skyblock maps that allow for husks to drop gravel or sand or something like that for like a renewable resource. I think it's zombies drop gravel and husks drop sand is the way they do it. But yeah, you always end up with a farm made of scaffolding because then you can build it like the diamond-shaped mob farm, like the typical mob farm. How do you join the SMP? This SMP, you don't. It's a closed server. Invite only, and we have a fixed amount that we want the cast to be. Plus, obviously, it's a content creator thing, largely driven by who we already know. So, not the kind of thing that it is open for anybody to join. Thanks for the interest, though. I'm just flying around looking for a bastion that I haven't seen yet. Or anything that's just a little bit out of the way, you know? We don't really explore the nether all that much on this server unless we want specific resources. We all tend to use the nether hub to get from place to place, and that's on the roof, so don't ever really bump into nether infrastructure all that much. This is like the 4th nether fortress I found. The fortress. I do have an ender chest on me, so if I need more fireworks, I can get more fireworks. We're in fresh chunks now as well, because those are newly loaded lava streams coming down from the ceiling. What kind of farms do we have going? I still have 400 levels from the copper farm, which I haven't really spent, because at late game you don't tend to use XP for very much, except for occasionally repairing my infinity bow. Or extra enchants for the gear, like the gold helmet I just enchanted. But, yeah, not really having spent any levels and not really make a habit of dying, I end up keeping a lot of levels from using the copper farm, the raid farm, and trading with villagers. I would actually kind of love to find a treasure bastion. Not because we need it for anything, but because I didn't find one when I was looking for a good place to build a froglight farm. And so knowing that they actually exist on this server would be kind of a novelty. Bones making an F. It's kind of like a TF shape. They often do that. It's kind of funny when you find it. And it's always, like, collapsed as well. Oh, here's one. And that is a treasure bastion. So, hey, good call. This is at 1,500 on both axes. There's some piglin brutes, so that's who we get rid of right away. Should probably get a bucket of lava to deal with these guys. But all I really want to do to begin with is take the roof off. I often wonder what was so huge in the Nether to leave such bones lying around. I know, right? Same question about all of the fossils you find in the overworld. Like, what kind of creatures were these? Blacksteel 2 Minute, thank you for the resubs. Yeah, that's where the sandworms are from, exactly. Maybe giants? Maybe giants. Never found a fossil in the overworld, thought it was a myth. You find them under deserts and swamps, which are two places people don't really bother to go mining, because mining under deserts is a pain with all the sand, and you don't tend to make a base in a swamp all that often, so it's kind of rare that people go mining underneath them. Neither of them have any particularly unique resources to go mining for either, but fossils are just kind of interesting. We've found a couple of fossils on this server. Jimmy's found them, and he's found them below deep slate levels, so they generate with diamond ore instead of coal ore in them. It's always fascinating. But then obviously you find bone structures all over the place in soul sand valleys, so you sort of get a feel for what fossils feel like, even if you don't find them in the overworld. Maybe the ghasts are the souls of whatever left those bones. Interesting theory. They do seem to be pretty upset about not having bones. Yeah, I would be as well, TBH, yeah. What do I need Blackstone for? So my next big plan is just to build more stuff in the ancient capital, and one of the things I want to build is a very grayscale feeling castle. In my head, I'm calling it Castle Grayscale because that sounds like a cool name for a castle, but also, yeah, everything in the ancient capital is kind of broken down and old and weathered, and a lot of it is based on architecture from Elden Ring, which doesn't necessarily have a super monotone color palette, but a lot of the locations in it are built in a way that is meant to feel very imposing. And I feel like Blackstone, Deep Slate, and Stone are all good for that because they all feel kind of monolithic when you build with them, you know? I've been watching a couple of people playing through Elden Ring again. I'm kind of getting the itch to play it, but I'll be away from my PC for 2.5 weeks, so I don't really have a chance. I'm taking the Switch with me. I'll probably just end up playing a lot of Pokemon. And yeah, Castle Grayskull also a pretty heavy influence on the name, yeah. Trying Elden Ring, I'm not good at console games. Honestly, Elden Ring is kind of a trial by fire if it's, you know, something that you're not used to on console games. And it does have PC controls if you're playing it on PC. Yeah, it does have keyboard and mouse controls, but I gather they're not quite as intuitive as the console version is. What if they add worms into Minecraft and have worms help with crop growth? I'm pretty sure there are mods that involve stuff like that, and honestly, there are enough things that help with crop growth already. Like, if you need crops to grow faster, then there's always bone meal, bee pollination, or, you know, you can gather them automatically with villagers. Like, I don't know if Minecraft really needs that many additional systems that help with crop growth. Your mileage may vary, of course, but on PC but using an Xbox controller, would you recommend keyboard and mouse over the controller? I don't know if I could recommend it because I'm not somebody who plays keyboard and mouse. I've seen people do it and it seems at least doable, but it really depends on whether you're having an issue with the controller inputs or if you're just having an issue with the game in general. But I think Prowl8413 played it on keyboard and mouse when he was playing on YouTube. I don't know how far he got with that. But frankly, when it comes to any kind of game experience like that, I tend to play with a console pad because it feels like a more arcadey experience for me, I suppose. When's the new episode coming? Probably tomorrow. I expected to get it done sooner, but trading for all of that glass just took a very long time. I didn't have as much time as I wanted to yesterday to make an episode, so I finished it off today. It's in the edit now. It'll be out tomorrow. Bees are airworms. Seems that way, doesn't it? What about the survival guide? Listen, I can only do so much. And I want survival guide to come back, but I want survival guide to have specific projects to come back to. And one of the things I said I was going to do before that is get out this tutorial for the automated version of my copper aging facility, so I'm working on that primarily, and then that's going to be one of the big projects in survival guide. What's my glass placed up to now? I share that statistic in tomorrow's video, so I'm not going to spoil it on stream, but it's a high number. It's not as high as 500,000, no. Picked up Dark Souls recently. Best advice I've seen for any Souls-like is you're going to die a lot. Part of the gameplay loop is learning the boss timings and moveset. Yeah, I think the other thing is remembering that if you lose the currency, whether it's like Souls or in Elden Ring, I'm pretty sure it's runes, that's like the least important thing for you to lose. Like, it's not like you tend to lose any of your equipment or accessories or whatever, so it's entirely fine to run into an area, grab all of the items, and then die, because you still come out with all of the items, you just don't have any of the currency to, like, level up with. And there are people who... It's possible for them to beat the game on level 1 without upgrading their character at all. It's not necessarily likely for first-timers to do that, but... there's a certain amount of it that you learn through skill, and there's a certain amount of it that if you want to, especially with Elden Ring, you can just grind and then end up with like a really high-level character. But the people I've been watching Jacob and Julia from Drawfee play through it, because I just discovered they have like gaming streams as well as their drawing stuff. And Jacob is playing through it in a way that he's got a very set path in mind, and he's just trying to do all of the NPC side quests, because he missed out on some of those in his first playthrough. And the way he's playing, he just like skips ahead to a bunch of areas to get like easy to kill enemies killed, and like earns a ton of levels right away, so you get set up very early in the game. And I'm like, that's kind of a smart way to do that. Yeah, Secret Sleepover Society is their kind of home stream kind of thing, and yeah, I like that. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend any of them live because they're always at like 9 PM Eastern time, which is like 2 in the morning for me. Julia's always a loose cannon. I just watched the episode. I think it's like the 3rd stream they did, which starts with her making a joke that she just laughs at herself for like 3 minutes before she can even say it. And it's just like, I don't know, that kind of thing always tickles me. Anastasia, thank you so much for the 45. Recently killed the Wither for the first time after playing Minecraft for 10 years. Survival Guide was helpful preparing me for that. Always makes me happy when I'm looking for how to do something and it's the top search result. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on your first Wither kill. That's wild. Can we get some GGs in the chat? Yeah, your first Wither is always kind of a nerve-wracking experience. Like, I remember my first time fighting the Wither, I think it was on Decidedly Vanilla. It's my first proper Wither fight after... When I was playing on console, on the Xbox 360, the Wither hadn't been implemented yet. Like, it came to the Xbox version of the game later, but it just wasn't in the Xbox 360 version when I played it. So, yeah, I was really nervous for my first Wither fight as well. Had kind of a cool setup for it, though, because, you know how with red sandstone, the chiseled red sandstone has the Wither on it? I basically recreated a desert temple out of red sandstone, so it had the Wither on the chiseled bricks instead of the creeper face. And had the Wither fight in like a trap underneath that, basically. Promised I wouldn't cheese it and would fight it basically in the open. It was terrifying. You did it in a huge dripstone cave. Oh, dripstone cave is... Yeah, that's one heck of an environment as well. Like, with all the potential for full damage and, like, stalactites falling on you if the Wither explodes them and stuff. Like, that's adding a whole extra dimension to it. Like, I'm all about cheesing the Wither. Yeah, red sandstone I wish was easier to access. I kind of wish that they had... Badlands biomes had sandstone generation the same way deserts do, because now the plateaus, the mesas around are so tall that you can get enough terracotta from those anyway that it really seems silly that you can't get red sandstone the way you can in regular deserts. It's fun to have rare blocks, but it's also fun to have ways of getting those rare blocks either later on or in future versions after they've been a rare part of the game for a while, you know? I've only fought the Wither once. I hired some iron golems to do all the work. Yeah, iron golems are useful for that too. Yeah, and terracotta's renewable via mud, and there's so many different reasons for the Badlands biome to have more red sand access. Or red sandstone. Why are we eating apples? I just needed some food. I hadn't traded golden carrots from any of my villagers lately, and I was saving a lot of emeralds for trading glass. Even though I got an absurd amount from the raid farm, I just wanted to use as much of them as possible on trading glass until I had enough. And so I just grabbed whatever I had a stack of in my chests in the hole in the wall, which was, at the time, just apples. I think I'd traded a lot of apples from farmers, or I'd got a lot of them from chopping oak wood or something. Or dark oak. So you found a bastion. What type? This is a treasure bastion. I don't know if anyone's found this one before. It was pretty out of the way. So it may not have been raided. After I've taken down some of the decor here, we might go ahead and see what's inside the loot chests. I know you usually like golden carrots, so I was confused. Yeah, I just grabbed whatever I had a stack of. I'll probably get some more golden carrots at the end of today's stream, but... Why am I collecting blackstone? I want some for a build. And it kind of makes sense to grab it from Bastion. I don't really have the sand to craft enough TNT that I could go and blast it from underground. We could go looking for some ancient debris a bit later, but I wanted to go looking for bastions because we haven't really seen one for a while. This doesn't look like tree chopping. It's not, but chopping doesn't have to be tree chopping. You can chop all kinds of materials. Can I adjust the gamma a bit? It's a bit dark. Sure. Do I need blackstone or blackstone bricks? Both. They're good for texture, so I'll take either. I don't have a specific schematic in mind. I just want to prepare with enough material that I can get this stuff done when I start building it. I just know that there are going to be some sections which have either, like, blackened with age or have maybe been attacked by siege weapons. And so, like, it's left a lot of char around the outside. Like, I'm basing all of this on Castle Stormvale from Elden Ring, and that has been, like, attacked by siege weapons and dragons and all kinds of stuff in the past, which have left the place feeling very beaten up. How do I still have inventory space? I've got a shulker box with me, I guess. Like, I don't really know what would prevent me from having inventory space. The Enderman supervisor, I know. Always just hanging out, aren't they? He's nowhere near a warped forest either, so he must have just spawned in the open nether. Can I do a recap on Jimmy's hardcore? Welcome to the first day of Solidarity hardcore server. Jimmy is dead. Did he die? That's pretty funny. Well, now he's in a hole. He's found his spot. He's like, I'll be supervising from here. Carry on. Just taking my company mandated 15-minute break. He can warp out of there anytime he wants. He just chooses not to. Sometimes it's just cool taking the lid off one of these structures and looking down through them and seeing what they look like. Even though, yeah, right here I'm not really collecting every single block. Look at all this. Wow. Wonder why Endermen can do that. I see them in the nether wastes all the time. Well, they used to spawn in the nether from, I think, 111 onwards. Was it 111 or 110? And they were kind of hinting at the fact that the Endermen had some kind of purpose in the nether. Like they were looking for something or whatever. And I don't think they ever really followed up on that lore-wise, but then warped forests got introduced in 116. But Endermen could spawn in the nether up to like 5 versions before that. R2C, thanks so much for the raid. Welcome in. Playing on Bedrock, been looking for a bastion with a magma cube spawner, 0 luck for a month. Yeah. If you haven't been using them already, I find riding around on striders is a really good way of exploring the nether for bastions, because most of the time they'll generate near lava lakes because they're such large structures. So, yeah, if you've just been... I mean, if you've got Elytra or whatnot already, then that's another story. Like, you can fly around pretty easily, but I do think riding around on a strider is a good way of finding them. That's what I did when I was looking for the treasure bastion on this server for the first little stretch, but eventually I just went to a basalt delta and did that. This isn't the greatest example of that technique, though, because it's got a lava lake right here, but I don't know how far away this is from everything else that we've already explored in the nether. Am I planning on getting more custom textures? Maybe. I think we have another artist coming on to do some custom texture work, because our other artist has been really busy lately. So we might end up getting a few more of those done as a server. Shoot at me, will you? Not that it's going to do anything, but... Why am I ripping the roof off this place? Mostly to get the blackstone, but also to kind of see what stuff looks like, because it's always really entertaining to me. Yeah, the Enderman is doing his impression of an Endermite. All right there, bud. Found a little hole to stand in. Some of the blackstone is definitely getting burnt up in the lava down there. Do enjoy the fact that you can win a staring contest with an Enderman. Yeah, I mean, if you stand and stare at them, they don't tend to move. 1v1 the Enderman. I'm good, I'm just going to let him be. Not sure what my stats are on how many Endermen I've killed on this server, but it's probably in the tens of thousands now because we have an Enderman farm. I don't really have anything to prove against that one guy. No music today? There is music, it's just quiet. You can bring it up a little bit if you want. Hello, Windows. What's up, Proton Glitch? Welcome in. Always enjoy encountering a peaceful spider and just hanging out with it, yeah. Yeah, neutral mobs are fun like that. Could I do a Let's Play of Minecraft Alpha? To be honest, I wouldn't really know what to do in alpha versions. Like, I find the complexity and depth of the game, the amount of blocks and everything, so much more interesting about newer versions. Don't really want to go back to Minecraft Alpha where there weren't even, like, wooden stairs yet and stuff. The only purpose for that is, like, solely nostalgia. I think it's objectively worse. Yeah, I mean, when I did, a while back, I think for Survival Guide, maybe for the 101 questions video for this season of Survival Guide, I opened up beta 1.7 so I could go to the far lands. And I had to install a mod that allowed you to run commands in single player because those weren't a thing yet. And then, even though I have a really good computer, it's not like having a good computer really scaled your performance at that point. Minecraft just doesn't run well. And so playing that beta version of Minecraft, I was like, this is just weird to me because it just didn't have the level of performance that I expect from current versions of Minecraft. Just like the chunk loading and stuff was not great. Obviously, the technology supporting the game has come along in leaps and bounds and has had 10 years to do that, so it hasn't necessarily done that super fast by some people's standards, but yeah, we don't know how good we have it today. Nice to catch a stream. Last one you caught was the charity event. Wow, that was a while ago. Am I still playing that hardcore server? Yeah, I'm still on Respawn. I'm not doing too much on there, though. We raided an ancient city the other day. I didn't lose lives or anything, but I'm sort of stuck for what exactly I want to do that's not just hanging out with other people. And I do have content to make before I go away. and Respawn wasn't necessarily a server I joined to make a ton of content. I have a couple of YouTube shorts that I want to make out of it, but I'm also trying to alternate between regular video uploads and YouTube shorts just to keep my channel content kind of varied and not annoy the people who aren't really in it for shorts. Is this on Empires? Yes, this is. Remember when the night used to be totally pitch black? Yeah, before there was, you know, brightness sliders and things. Ever going to do another survival guide? Season 2 is still ongoing. I just haven't done any videos from it for a while, but I plan on getting back to it in February, and regardless of whether that happens or not, sooner or later, the next update to Minecraft is going to come out, and there will be mechanics and stuff to cover in that I will want to do tutorials for. So, if nothing else, like, we can go looking for a sniffer, we can craft some hanging signs, chisel bookshelves, do some redstone with those. There's all kinds of stuff like that. Go and find camels and breed those, and, you know, there's plenty we can do once a new Minecraft update comes out. I do plan on getting back to Survival Guide before that happens. Yeah, right now, obviously, I'm still quite keen on doing stuff on Empires because it's a very popular series.
Well, that's just prime.
Stay Puff with the 51 months, thank you so much. And Zetar, thank you for the 9 months. Watching your latest hardcore survival guide for the 4th time. I mean, hardcore survival guide, not really a thing. The shorts are on a different tab now, so they're separate from normal videos. Yeah, I think the only place that they still show up in the same feed as everything else is if you go to your subscriptions page, which is how I browse YouTube, so I tend to think of that as like the core YouTube experience, even though for a lot of people it isn't. Survival God and Bastions helped me clear one in a Vault Hunter's World. Nice! Good stuff. I plan on never doing any more city building like I did in Survival Guide 1. Yeah, I mean, in theory, if I don't have a multiplayer server going on, then all of the building stuff that I do would be concentrated in Survival Guide. It's just more difficult to make those into something that feels like a worthwhile tutorial. And if I don't make Survival Guide stuff into tutorials, then people are like, I thought this was a guide, you know? So it becomes kind of at cross purposes with what feels like the inherent mission statement of the series. I don't know, it's difficult to come up with some kind of, what would you call it, like naming convention, branding for want of a better term, for a series like Survival Guide but with a bit more casual, let's work on projects kind of gameplay. Because the guide thing inevitably implies that there's going to be tutorials constantly, but framing it as anything else just kind of diminishes its searchability, I think. Because people are looking for tutorials. I don't just want to make a bog standard Minecraft Let's Play. Like, I think the market for those has been so saturated that nobody really makes them anymore. If you make a Let's Play, there's always got to be some sort of twist to it, or it's always got to be part of a popular enough project already, like Hermitcraft, that people are going to be inherently interested in it. Like, people don't watch long-form Minecraft Let's Plays anymore, or some people do, but it's certainly not a market with room for growth. Yeah, so all you need to be Etho, and I don't know if Etho is still gaining subscribers on his Minecraft Let's Play. Or gaining viewership is probably a better way of putting that. And like a lot of the time I get people coming in here asking like, if they're getting into content creation, where they should start. And where you have to start now is really like get used to what content creation is, get used to, you know, making videos and everything, but then also start the idea mill churning. Start working on a concept that's going to set you apart from other people. Like, I think every Minecraft YouTube channel worth its salt should probably have, like, a single-player Let's Play world there at some point, but I feel like really the marketability of that is kind of gone now. The fact that you're just barely not insta-mining the block is kind of frustrating. Does Blackstone and Blackstone... I mean, I think I know Blackstone does. But did Blackstone bricks insta-mine with haste 2? I presume they do, right? Netherbrick doesn't. Netherbrick is tougher. But I'm pretty sure you can just insta-mine these if you set up a beacon. The problem, of course, being that this is at Y78 in the nether, and the beacon would have to go through bedrock to reach the sky. Bricks would have the same hardness? Yeah, I get the feeling you can insta-mine this stuff. I think I might even have done it before. For new people getting into editing, which software would I recommend? If you have a budget, look into something like Premiere Pro or Sony Vegas. If you're on a Mac, obviously Final Cut is probably the best one. But then if you're not looking to spend too much money, look into DaVinci Resolve, because there's a free version and a paid version of that. And Resolve is used by people in all kinds of video industries for color grading and a variety of other things, but apparently as an editor it's not bad. Some very peaceful music for being blown up by a ghast. Yeah, I've heard Resolve is good. I've never used it myself, but I gather it's worth trying. Yeah, the free version will last you a long time. And obviously the goal being, if you've used it for long enough that you've been able to, you know, cut your teeth on that piece of software and then work towards video editing that actually might pay for itself, then you could get the paid version and unlock some of the other features, right? If you pay for Resolve Studio, upgrades are free for life. Nice, yeah. Do love a piece of software that isn't, like, subscription-based. Kind of tied into the Adobe ecosystem for that, but honestly, like, when I was looking for editing software a while back, Premiere Pro just seemed like genuinely the most intuitive thing I could use to edit, and like it's always had a comfortable workflow for me. It has its issues, like there's some stuff that changes about it every so often that I really wish they didn't change. Like they'll change the way like you add text and graphics and stuff, because I think mostly they want you to use After Effects to add some of that stuff, whereas I like my entire workflow to be in Premiere. But there's some really great features on it now. Like, they have auto-transcribing captions, which, like, actually work really well for speech-to-text. And I'm actually planning on using those for a bunch of my upcoming YouTube shorts, and potentially some shorts for the Spawn Chunks podcast as well. Just to be able to generate clips with subtitles for accessibility. I think it's a really great way of doing that. Once you get used to Premiere Pro, it's great. You just need to get used to it first. Yeah, but I think having had some experience with Final Cut before that, Premiere Pro just seemed very logical to me in how it worked. Like with razor blade tools and everything, like all of that stuff made sense to me compared to some of the other editing software I'd used that didn't have the same tools in it. got a couple of shulkers of blackstone now. We might call it there, but I might take the screenshot of the coords of this, just in case we want it at some point. And we've got a boat. There's plenty of lava around. Hello. Of course, this is still in a soul sand valley, so we are still getting occasional visits from skeletons. Which is not really what we want right here. Bye. I saw a skeleton walking around in here. Alright. I don't think there are any piglin brutes on this level. I think they're all on the level below. And there aren't any staircases they can walk up on this level, I don't think. Of course, these jokers are still around, aren't they? Let me turn up hostile creature sounds just so I can hear them a little better. All these brutes snorting, stepping. Loitering, sitting. The lava is so you don't make them all mad when you kill one? Yes. Primarily that. Also, it kills them very fast, because lava does a lot of damage very quickly, and piglin brutes have a lot of health. They hit much harder on Java than they do on Bedrock, because on Java Edition, they the golden axes actually deal quite a bit of damage. Oh, here's a staircase. Maybe we roll with something like this. Hello? Anyone home? I think they're just over there by that entrance, you know. Hi. Just kind of trying to get underneath me. Where'd you go, bud? There we go. I just try and play things safe. Relatively speaking. Can get these. Well, rip that gold block. We have a gold farm, it's fine. I hear some more brutes. I do not see some more brutes. It's never my preferred situation. They're everywhere down here. There's one there. There's one there. There's a couple over there. That's not even counting the ones that are in the ramparts. Sam, thank you for the 100 bits. Would we ever consider releasing a mid-season world download? I don't think we plan to do that, no. I think all of us are kind of against the idea of downloading something that feels unfinished. I know that's always the stance I took with world downloads of my own stuff. Viminator, thank you for the 11 months. So there's 2 over there that we can see. They're not on this level, right? They're on the one below this. This is kind of a mezzanine. They're like down here. All I have to do is just not fall down next to one. Hi. Listen to how long it takes the piglin brute to die compared to the other piglin. There's a chest over here, completely unguarded. Giant bones sticking out through the ceiling. A piece of ancient debris. I'll take that. Not going to mind that. Everything else here is kind of nothingy, though. I hear you down there. Can't believe you haven't been here before, Crimrose. Welcome in. You made it. Doesn't matter whether you've been here before. What matters is you're here now. Just wanted to see if that hit anything on the way down. I don't think it did. There's one over there. I think there's still one on this next level down. Don't hear any others right here. Hello?
Well, that's just prime.
It sure is. Chester Copper Block, thanks so much for the 13 months. Lucky 13. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Alright, this is where that was. Oh, and there's a guy. A guy! We found a man. And there's two right there. There's tons in this place. So if we, like, knock a hole in this, pour that straight down onto them. Alright, that's them taken care of. It's a good thing Piglin Brutes don't drop anything useful. There's another one up there as well. I think there's one regular piglin in this entire place. Really haven't seen that many of them otherwise. Get him. Where'd that guy go? Slippery. He's giving me the runaround. Oh, he's out here. Hello. Let me pour lava on you. There we go, nothing personal. Oh, there's a couple of other piglins around there. There's one down there who's mad. And then there's that guy. But aside from those two, I don't see any others. I think that guy's a regular piglin. Hey, Captain, doing very well. Thank you for asking. Alright, those guys are doomed. I've already spawned some magma cubes. Hey, bud. Where are you off to? I don't like it when they run underneath these things and I can't see them. Worried they've, like, found a path up to me somehow. There we go. Alright, I think that's all the piglin brutes. I cannot see or hear any more right now. So we should be good to have the run of the place at this point. Ideally, we need to be down the other end of this. Yeah. This one is very open, which is the main concern because of all of the cubes. And the fact that the piglins can see us when we raid these chests. But we're at least a little careful here. You can wall this off. A bit more ancient debris, 1 fresh netherite ingot, 2 fresh netherite ingots. A little bit of iron, gold. Diamond leggings aren't super worthwhile. And the rest of that's nothing much to write home about. I'm going to leave all the gold blocks, because frankly we can generate those. So yeah, all in all, not too bad. I think the debris and the netherite ingots are quite nice. Like, that's at least my sword and my shovel upgraded to netherite now. And then I don't know if I have any more scrap at home, but no pig step though, kind of sad. I mean, there's still chests up in the ramparts. Is the other place where we might still have piglin brutes to take out. So let's take a few blocks from the wall here. That's why I was checking if I have a boat on me earlier, because we can potentially trap some other piglin brutes that way. I think I have a pig step disc somewhere as well, but where's our exit? Up here? Yeah. Haven't raided this bit yet. Hello. Being in a Soul Sand Valley is the problem here. I also don't have soul speed, which is unfortunate. Oh, there he is. Up. Okay, I think I gave him the slip. Kind of panicked for that one. Was trying to put the boat down, but it wouldn't let me. Stream works very well to podcast while I work. Well, I'm not really talking about anything coherent. I'm mostly just making noises right now, but I'm glad you're enjoying it at least. There he is. Retreating to his fort. There we go. A little bit easier that way. I thought for a second somehow there was a baby piglin right there. It turned out, nope, just a piglin brute head. Pretty soon, piglin heads are going to be an actual thing, which is an interesting proposition. I don't know if any of those can see me. They're sort of up there in the ceiling, right? You can also get soul speed from trading with piglins. You can, yes. It's basically the only way you get it. Oh, that was Angry Snorts. Did that guy come out? Can he see me? Is he just there?
Well,
oh, it's that guy.
Just prime.
If I break out these blocks... There we go. There's another one up there. I'll hit that guy. Bricks, thanks so much for the 4 months. Okay. I think that might be all the brutes. And all the lava just kind of drains off. So we're going to nice and gently make our descent here. For living amongst lava hell, these guys are surprisingly flammable. Yeah, piglins are some of the... piglins and hoglins are the only nether mobs which are not fire resistant in some form or another. Oh, wait, no, there's still one more. I presume he's still, like, up in the very top part of this place. Acorn Fletcher, thank you for the 11 months. I see that guy. There's a couple of them. But not the brutes. Where's the brute at? Over this side? Okay, there's one of the treasure chests. Just fighting a bastion with some chill background music. Yeah, I mean, doing my best. I don't know where this last brute is. It turns out directly above me might be an option. So I'm concerned about that part. Okay, that goes on fire. See, one of those guys who just ended up hanging off the back of the building. It might be. Keep my boat on me just in case. Yeah, I mean, the subtitles start to come back in over here. I'm freaking myself out just by taking damage. I think it's like through... Ah, there's two of them in here. Hello. There's another, like, 3 of them. Hey, bud. Come here and meet your doom. He looks cold over there. All you really need to do here is block line of sight, so I'm being overly cautious, but... I prefer to be overly cautious. Especially in situations like this where I'm only wearing, like, half my armor. A lot of gold. A few gold carrots. Gilded blackstone, another netherite scrap, that's another netherite ingot. Pretty good. Obviously we could condense the gold down into blocks if we wanted to, but... Hey, not bad. See what's on the other half. Like I said, no pig step music disc, but... Golden apple, golden block, bit more iron, bit of gilded blackstone. I feel like gilded blackstone might also be something that I pull a handful out of a giant bastion structure like this, so I can use it to build bits of Castle Grayscale. I don't hear any more piglin brutes. And naturally there's like the vault down there with all of the gold blocks in it, but I don't really need those. Just built Season 1 Survival Guide end portal room on your SMP. Reception has been great. Hey, awesome. Glad to hear it. Awesome to hear those old Survival Guide 1 ideas are still seeing the light of day as well. Anyway, let's hop on down here. There's another... This bastion took an F. Another F for the bastion. Just called Castle Grayscale. Don't know if it's new or if it's been a thing for a while. That's something I'm planning now, basically. I'm in the process of figuring out what I want to do with the rest of the ancient capital, and one of the major ideas that I've had from the beginning is build a castle along the hilltop. And that'd be one of the structures that sort of remained there because of how solidly it was constructed and everything. It's going to be a bit of a ruin, but that's sort of the idea of the whole area, so makes sense to me. Alright, let's head on back towards World Center. How long have we been in this SMP? I think... Oh, there's another one right here. Hello? Is that a second treasure bastion? Those are within very close proximity of each other. Wow, that's actually incredible. Not going to loot that one as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think how long it's been since we started Season 2 of Empires. It's a decent amount of time. Like, we started in, what, July? So I guess it's been over 6 months now. Another fortress right there. Nope, can't go that way. This way. Wow. You imagine being served up a blaze spawner on a plate like this? That's kind of a fun way of finding a fortress. Oh, hello. I think that's my Lightmatica bubble. Like the area editor. So that's a good way of pointing me towards the center of the world. Well, there's a bit of basalt delta in between us and that. I suppose basalt delta could be another place to come looking for blackstone, but I just hate the amount of just other junk that's around it. Lava and that. And magma cubes as well, they're a bit of a pain too. If anything, we need to go south now. But obviously we're seeing evidence of human life. Someone's left all of their dirt around this place. Keeping half an eye on the hoglins around here. Now where's the spot that gets you back into my place? Could always take that staircase. Whose portal is this? Oh, so many questions. Oh, it's Joel's. Welcome to Stratos. I guess I could have just gone back through that portal and onto the nether roof, right? It's very dark out here, though. Is it a thunderstorm? Or is it just raining? Yeah, Stratos is always incredible whenever you visit. Always worth the visit. Of course, I immediately see some creepers. Right. Quick stretch, and I'm in water now. Let's unpack what we got from that little trip. So I don't think we have any more ancient debris anywhere. Excuse me. Wow. Anywhere. So I guess we're gonna have to smelt the debris. Let's put some of this miscellaneous blackstone stuff away in here, and the soul sand. This is sort of like loosely nether-related stuff. Obviously, we have plenty of like basalt and whatnot around here as well. Actually, let's bring this all in. Our big cultist, thank you for the 27 months. Welcome back. Gonna quickly take care of a couple of creepers I saw on the way in. We'll throw that in there. I believe I had one more netherite scrap in the bundle. There we go. Golden carrots, etc. Favorite part of adventuring is sorting and unpacking afterwards. Hey, it's part of the fun. Just doing inventory of all of the stuff that you've gathered from your travels. Will I be making a build at spawn? I think Fwip has an idea for that he wants everybody to get involved with. A sort of a community build, like... Not quite like the Great Bridge in the sense that the Great Bridge was mostly something that I built and then people just built extra stuff on top of it. I think Fwip wants it to be much more collaborative than that. But the build at spawn was really something Fwip wanted to do last season too, so... Alright. All that's done. We've got netherite swords, netherite shovel, and we have room for one more piece of netherite armor, which I think is probably going to be the boots. Especially since I'm now using a gold helmet if I want to go to the nether. Netherite boots are always worth having. Boots have the lowest durability of all of the armor, I think, so... kind of makes sense for the boots to get that first. So now we're looking a slightly better kitted out. And I think it's probably time to go and do something a bit more domestic. I want to check what types of wood I need to farm. Honestly, we could use a bit of anything, really, but I'm tempted to go for the netherwood types, or maybe mangrove. We got a lot of mangrove, though. Birch and oak, possibly? Don't really have any birch saplings. Need to change that. Bring some bones over. Actually, what am I doing? Farming oak, you need to bring azalea. Definitely need to bring azalea for that. Some ender pearls. Let's throw the diamonds up in here as well. Just leave that in there. Some spare bone meal there. Other bits and pieces. I think I had some birch saplings in here. Yeah, I've kept like backups of some of the saplings. Might bring some apples as well. Okay. Love how relaxed the stream is. I've almost fallen asleep twice. I feel like chill vibes is what this stream is usually about. Occasionally we do some tense stuff. But for the most part, it's usually pretty relaxed, so... Apples fresh from the chest, I know. It's like having the fruit basket at home. The ancient city raid on Respawn was tense? Yeah, sure was. Fun, though. Definitely turning some moments of that into YouTube Shorts. Someone said they almost fell asleep. I just woke up. Oh, somebody said they fell asleep twice. So, it happens. I definitely fall asleep listening to, like, podcasts and stuff, so, like, never bothers me if people just kind of doze off. Having just, like, gentle voices talking about something they're enthusiastic about is just easy fall asleep material to me, because it's always kind of reassuring, I guess. Oh, almost fell asleep. Modern age lullabies, something like that. Nothing wrong with chill vibes? I hope not. Otherwise I'm doing it wrong. Definitely falling asleep to the podcast for that reason. It's very calming sometimes. Nice. Alright, we'll let those sit there for the minute. We'll space out these birch saplings a little bit. Just so we get a few more saplings back from these. You only really need 3 blocks of space between them, but... And do I have a Silk Touch hoe in here? I do, great. We might use some of these green shulker boxes and save the leaves then. I find birch leaves and azalea leaves both worth having because in the savannah the leaf color is obviously so different, except for ones which don't change color based on biome, right? So spruce, birch, and azalea are all pretty valuable. I'm not going to get all of the leaves this way, because then we'll never get our saplings back, but... Tree and bush person in me is dying at leaving the leaves to despawn. Most of those I'm leaving so that I can get the saplings back. Yeah, there have been some occasions recently where I've needed birch leaves or spruce leaves for custom tree builds. Like when I was building the section of the wall that I launched the missile from when we were having the kind of climactic event of the hermits being here and shooting the missile at Grumbot and everything. It was the kind of thing that I wanted to grow trees up around so it looked at least a little bit less conspicuous. Hadn't just built a big square platform to launch a missile from. Even though that's quite clearly what I'd done. There we go, lots of spruce saplings. Spruce is just my utility wood. I turn it into sticks. I trade it to Fletchers. That's typically how I farm emeralds. Internal, thank you for the 35 months. Maybe later it's going to be bamboo. Oh, bamboo's going to be fun. Fun to have bamboo wood to work with. Bamboo farms are going to be very valuable for all of the new stuff. Hey, bud. Let's take 3/4 of the leaves or thereabouts. We'll put the saplings at the end here as well. Still don't have a date for 1.20? Nope. They haven't announced anything. And if anything, like, the release date is usually the last thing we get, but they still haven't announced most of the features for 1.20 as far as we can tell. I mean, it may be that they don't have much else planned, but I'm pretty sure they have at least some stuff. If nothing else, we're getting the sniffer at some stage in snapshots, maybe? I am hoping we get something in the way of a snapshot tomorrow. But that's mainly a selfish thing. That's mainly just me wanting to have something to talk about on the podcast before I go away for a few weeks. Is it only Java that allows Azalea to grow that close together? I don't know, because I've not played Bedrock since Azalea was introduced. Or maybe I have just a little bit for RTX, but then I never really tried the mechanics of where the trees grow, you know? So I don't know for certain. Have to investigate that for yourself. Agnes teased something new coming up soon. I didn't get it. I haven't seen anyone figure it out. She mentioned something about the camels having some sort of Easter egg, and then after that, yeah, she said we have some new stuff coming soon. But then it's also like, I don't know when they filmed that. I don't know how soon is. Like, we can't make any assumptions about that being like the week after this video goes out or something. So, yeah, I'm still just waiting to see what they do. Camels are super cool. They are, yeah. I do wonder if people are going to find some other interesting stuff to do with them beyond just riding them around. Poster Nerd, thanks so much for the 12 months. Everyone spam the word nerd in the chat, please. Living up to your name with a 12-month resub. Thank you so much for the full year of support. Welcome to the Nerd Herds, of which you are pretty much already a member, I assume. More birch saplings, please. Background music also plays a big part in the chill vibes. Yeah. That's all Pretzel's work. Oh, hello. Bring those back. Alright, that should give us enough room to work. Is Mythical Sausage going to be streaming again? That's awesome. I know he's had a Twitch channel and maybe has streamed on YouTube once or twice here and there, but I've been really enjoying his pictures from his trip around Spain. There's some places he's been to that I've been to, and I'm like, hey, I was there, I remember that. Yeah, all the music is from Pretzel. The chill playlist is a free part of the music player. There are some premium channels that have like extra tracks on them and different flavors of stuff. But there's like chill and EDM channels that are all copyright free music and or DMCA free music at least. And yeah, some nice relaxing vibes. Yeah, I was like, there's got to be one more log in there. None of that looks like it's decayed yet. Boosh. Did anybody watch GDQ this year? AGDQ just finished, like, last weekend. And I caught little bits and pieces of it. There weren't too many games that I was super interested in watching, but I caught the Terraria Moonlord run. That was really cool. I haven't played Terraria for ages, and obviously there's some slightly newer stuff in there that I hadn't seen. But yeah, Habu's run of Terraria was really solid. There was also a Stardew Valley race, but it was the category was not like to complete the game in that sense. It was much more like complete one specific room of the community center. I think that's how it works. I think it was the crafts room one. There was two speedrunners racing against each other. It's amazing how fast they beat the bosses. Yeah, just some of the strats in Terraria are always fascinating to me because the first time you play through that game, or like, you know, the typical ways of playing through that game, you create arenas and you dodge around, and I feel like the fascinating thing about the Terraria speedrun is the amount of like really precise, small, functional building you do, where you're just creating like 3 platforms in one space and just a couple of platforms in another, and that's what NPCs can consider a house, and like there's some really specific NPCs that you need and that kind of stuff. Like that's all so precise at the scale that Terraria is rendered as well. It's like it's really interesting seeing that stuff happen. Craft Room is probably the easiest in Stardew. Surprised they didn't go for a difficult one. They probably submitted difficult runs, but they decided it was what fit the tournament. They had some really good commentary on that as well. Like the person doing the kind of couch commentary was probably reading from like a script of sorts, at least notes, but a very knowledgeable group of commentators. The azalea leaf breaking noise is so nice. I know. I really like some of the sound design they've done in recent iterations of Minecraft, and 1.20 is introducing different sound effects for the different wood types and stuff now. Not every overworld wood type, obviously, but like between the nether wood types. I think mangrove has slightly different sounds, maybe. Just realized you didn't watch a single bit of GDQ for the first time since it started. Yeah. I saw a few people saying, like, I'm just not into it this year, and some people were kind of bummed at how the presenters were, like, pushing donations and that kind of stuff, but there's a couple of good runs in there. I checked out the Final Fantasy VII run, because I figured that was always going to be fun. Hey, there he is. It's like he hasn't left Spain yet. Senor Chorizo is back. Stripping the netherwood has a fun noise, but yeah, sounds in Minecraft have improved so much over the years. Yeah. We missed the paella, of course. I think we all miss the paella once we've been to Spain and tried some. Alright. Couldn't try the paella. I went with a vegan friend. My only regret was the paella. Do they not make any kind of vegan equivalent? Like, I know obviously they're quite proud of it and might not want to, might not consider paella without any kind of meat or seafood in there to be correct, but I imagine there'd be some places you could get it. Did I take the name David from my copper machine from Tango Tech? No, the other way around. He took it from me. Or at least his chat suggested the name because they'd seen me build David version 1 on Empire Season 1. At least I believe that's what happened. Yeah, if Greg's can have vegan sausage rolls, then surely the Spanish can compromise. You were self-catering. If we've been eating out, you could have had some. Yeah, that's fair. I suppose if you're self-catering, it's a different story, right? Make a good mushroom risotto. It'll have some similarities. I've never actually tried the vegan sausage roll. Not being somebody who necessarily follows a vegan diet all the time. I do like vegetable-based stuff, but I feel like normally I just go for a regular sausage roll, but they must be good. They don't taste great, honestly. Well, if it's the only alternative you have. I've tried them, they're okay. Yeah. Well, it's still just Greg's as well, you know? Oh, hello. Sorry, 1 second. Alright, cool. Baked bean and vegan cheese bakes are better, to be honest. I've been having beans on toast a little bit over winter, and I don't normally have, like, a full-on beans on toast breakfast kind of thing. I don't normally buy baked beans, but man, I'm kind of enjoying it. It's comfort food. I think we have enough birch saplings now that I can just grab the rest of these leaves. Shameless plug for your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. I think Ginger might have deleted that because of the no age chat policy. Only because it gets other people talking about it, and then you have younger people disclosing their ages in chat, and it all gets very messy, so please don't. Let's go and trade a couple of emeralds from the Fletchers while I've got these handfuls of sticks on me. Go through a beans on toast phase for a month straight every 7 or so months. Fair play. That'll get me some golden carrots, although it's 3 for 3, isn't it? So we're slowly building up a stockpile. That iron golem's still having a bath. Wouldn't be able to function without something warm for breakfast. Ah, for me, that's just a cup of tea. But yeah, lately I've just been in a beans on toast zone. College every morning before we started, my routine was tea and a bacon and sausage bap. Nice. When you're college age, you need that kind of fuel as well. Got to use all that brain power. How's the chopping been going? It's been good. We've been in the nether for a little while. We got a couple more of our tools upgraded to netherite thanks to a pretty successful bastion raid. Hopeless Dove, thank you for the 31 months. Really appreciate the support for 31 months. Welcome back. Favorite kind of tea? I typically just drink black tea because I'm British and that's the standard off-the-shelf kind of tea. So Yorkshire tea is my preferred cuppa. But we go to a loose leaf tea shop in Brighton called Bird and Blend, and they have a bunch of really nice stuff. So occasionally I'll drink some like fruity hibiscus teas. They have one that's got passion fruit and papaya and stuff in it that's really nice. It's really nice cold brewed. But then, yeah, they've got a nice Earl Grey. They do a whole variety of other things. We've got some that my sister got me for Christmas that's like a kind of like semi-hot chocolate kind of thing. Like it's got cocoa nibs and stuff in it, but it's also got a bit of coconut, and it's meant to... this will be a very specific UK reference, unless they have them elsewhere and I'm just not aware of it, but there's these marshmallow treat things called snowballs, which are like marshmallow fluff coated in chocolate, and then the chocolate is like dusted with shredded coconut. Not British, but addicted to Earl Grey. Earl Grey is nice. I feel like I don't drink it a whole bunch, but it is good. But yeah, the tea is meant to mimic the taste of those. It's called Snowball. It's like named after those marshmallow things. You have snowballs in the States? Well, there you go. There you go. At least the reference is not wasted on you. Oh, and Australia has them too? Okay, so they're a more universal thing than I expected. Sometimes, like, I'll mention some kind of food that it turns out is unique to Britain, and people look at me like I'm crazy, so I'm glad that some people at least have heard of those. Earl Grey and English breakfast with cream and sugar are my favourite teas. There you go. I tend to drink mine with milk and without sugar, but to each their own, of course. Everyone's entitled to their own favourite cuppa. Should have brought more bone meal with me. We have an entire cabinet just for tea, and we live in the US, so I think we might be an outlier. Well, some people do. Some people prefer coffee, and other folks in the US prefer like iced tea and stuff, but or sweet tea. It's more of like a southern thing. And one of the things I'm looking forward to whilst we're out in the States is Arizona tea, which you can get over here, but it's not like manufactured over here, so it's more expensive. But I do like a can of Arizona tea if the weather's warm enough for it. I'm the only person in my office of 10 that drinks coffee black. They all think I'm a maverick. There you go. That's how you acquire a reputation amongst your office. Have you seen that one? That one over there? The black coffee drinker? Wow. Do you put any sort of beans on the toast? Like in Louisiana, we make red beans and rice. So I think Bush's baked beans is probably the closest thing that you can get to it in the United States. In the UK, we have Heinz baked beans, which are just like beans in a kind of tomato-y sauce. Bush's are more like barbecue sauce, I guess. But the tomato sauce in Heinz beans is kind of thin and sugary, but like it's not like a can of tomatoes or anything. Like it's slightly different. It's a bit more like watered down ketchup, I suppose, which sounds disgusting if I express it that way, but it's the only way I can really describe it. But yeah, Heinz baked beans. If you Google it, you'll find them. I'll buy a few more golden carrots and stuff, but I can grab maybe a stack of bone blocks and we'll just chip off as much as we need. Like SpaghettiOs. Yeah, I guess that's probably the closest comparison. Is like you get like the pasta and tomato sauce, like you get SpaghettiOs or whatever. Imagine that sauce being applied to the type of beans you get in like Bush's baked beans. Spaghetti sauce. That's how Smallish Beans got the Tiny Heinz nickname? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of beans they are, really. Some people saying cannelloni beans, some people saying haricots. I don't frankly know the difference. Like, I know a few different varieties of bean, but I mostly know them because they are more individual feeling. The beans in cans of baked beans always felt kind of homogenous to me. Google says the haricots. Oh, fair enough. Pinto beans on toast? Yeah, refried beans on toast, not quite the same thing. It's like it all has the same ingredients as like refried beans in a tortilla, but they're just presented differently. You'd eat refried beans on toast? Fair enough. Give it a try, report back. Let us know how the experience is. Presentation is half the battle, I expect so. Just need to see if Tesco sells them. The UK has been better at stocking supermarket Mexican food lately, which I think is a better alternative in a lot of ways than going out and trying a Mexican restaurant in the UK, because we're still not that great at making Mexican food. But if you know how to make it at home, then that's a different story. Refried beans on sourdough sounds amazing, actually. Maybe just because I grew up with Heinz beans on toast, but yeah, I'm just kind of stuck on that as the way beans on toast is. Not a big fan of beans in general, so I didn't enjoy it much. Seems like it'd be a pretty good and fast way to get some food in you. Yeah, I mean, that's also part of the appeal, is the ingredients are easy to prepare. There's a fair amount of protein in beans. It's got enough sugar to get you through the day. I've had experiences with Mexican restaurants. I'll stick with what I know. They're getting better, but there's you got to be very picky. Closest I get on to beans on toast is beans on a tostada, with other toppings currently found in commonly found in burritos and tacos. Yeah, that works. Shame all the Mexican places near me are not good. There's a really good one in like around London Bridge. There's a place there which I hope is still open, which I'm pretty sure was called Tacos El Pastor. Let me see. Yeah, it's like near Borough Market. I guess they have a Soho branch as well, assuming it's the same place. Really good. Like genuinely good Mexican food. Keep an eye out for it when I'm next in London. Yeah, look it up. If you want decent Mexican food, they don't do half bad. Like, my partner's family has a lot of Mexican heritage. My mother-in-law is half Mexican, Spanish, and half Puerto Rican. So, yeah, there's a fair bit of that. And they all approved of Tacos al Pastor. Hey, True Purple, thank you for the 47 months. Welcome back. It's almost 4 years. Live on the west coast of the US, and Mexican is the best food here, basically. I'd like Indian or Thai better. Yeah, or you'd like better Indian or Thai. Like, you think Indian and Thai has the most room for improvement. From what I gather, it's really not as easy to find good Indian food in the US as it is in the UK. But obviously curry in the UK is very much like the British version of Indian cuisine, right? Like Indian people adapting their cuisine to British palates. But yeah, like I get spoiled with how good Indian food is in the UK. New York's very easy to find good Indian food. I feel like if you can't find a good example of any type of international cuisine in New York, then it's just because the people never came to New York. But New York does seem like the place to emigrate to, with, you know, the Statue of Liberty being there, literally being like, hey, come here. And so, while obviously the US has its battles when it comes to immigration, it's pretty evident that any established cuisine is going to have had its roots in New York at some point. You ever wish that we lived in a world where you could just go and live in the place that suited you best? Like, for everybody who complains about living in a cold climate and thinks that they do way better in, like, hotter countries, wouldn't it be cool if people could just go and live at whatever place, like, suited their temperament best? Like a truly global society that just allows you to go anywhere as long as it's comfortable for you. Ugh, the dream. The Gene Roddenberry future, yeah, basically. If only Star Trek fans could run the world. What's stopping you from moving where you want and living where you want? I mean, immigration rules. Like, legal procedures. Countries having, like, fairly strict quotas on the types of, like, the amount of people they want to immigrate, and, you know, xenophobia and racism preventing some people from immigrating to the places that they want to live. Taxes. Yeah, mostly money, mostly capitalism. Like, it's different if you live somewhere in the United States where, like, there is a huge variety of climates because it's such a large country. But, like, living in the UK, you basically have to adjust to it being rainy and wet unless you have the money to move anywhere else. And yeah, like in some places you have to give up your citizenship in order to become a citizen of another country and move there permanently. Obviously, there are requirements for living in different countries, and you have to have work. And like, I was reading an article a couple of weeks ago about how in Sweden, this was specifically affecting folks at Mojang. You can't get a proper work permit, which, you know, means that you can't get like a social security number and apply for like some of the more important stuff like a bank account and you know, medical services and stuff over there if you're on a probationary work offer. Like if your work is only is basically hiring you for a 6-month trial period, if you know, that's the kind of thing. And basically if they can't offer you a full position right up front, which a lot of companies don't want to do, to protect their own interests, and just in case you're not a good fit for the role once you've started to try out, or if you change your mind or whatever, then people just can't settle down properly. Even moving in the EU isn't as easy because you might not be comfortable with the languages. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, of course, is your own understanding of what the country is. Like, it's not like you can just move a couple of 100 miles south because you want warmer weather and then expect everybody around you to understand you. What project am I collecting materials for? I mean, it's more just stockpiling stuff so that I have resources for future builds. I just like to keep a certain amount of most resources available to me so that I don't have to go and farm resources immediately before I can start something. Like, if I have the motivation to build something, I can just grab everything from storage and go build it. I find working that way is a lot more beneficial to me than starting a project and then being like, okay, now I have to go and farm wood for 3 hours. Like, that's what I use these streams to do. And because unless I have a Lightmatica blueprint prepared, it's often kind of difficult for me to just improvise builds on the fly on stream. I tend to do all the resource collection on stream anyway. Gives me the opportunity to talk to my chat. I used Duolingo to brush up on my French and know someone who used it for Danish because his partner is Danish. That's cool. I would love to learn more Spanish and stuff as well, because I had a really great time in Spain. I want to go back there, but I felt like I was relying on my partner so much to do the talking because they speak much better Spanish than I ever could. It's something to do when I don't know what to do. Exactly. You always need wood in Minecraft as well. Obviously, a more effective way to get it could be like getting larger, the 2x2 trees, or setting up an automatic tree farm, but I just like chopping wood. It's a nice break for my brain. Helps me think. And what I would be doing otherwise is probably editing the next Empire's episode, but I can't do that on stream with everybody, because for a start, editing an episode live is kind of embarrassing for me, because it's like cut out all of the areas where I have to like stop and say what I was saying again, but slower, and make sure that I don't misspeak a whole bunch in my videos. Sometimes I will start a thought and my brain will backtrack on itself before the thought is even finished, and then I just kind of stutter to a halt and have to find a different way of saying what I'm trying to say. But also because it's spoilers for upcoming episodes, and I like to keep that stuff just like an edited product on YouTube. Spain Spanish sounds so weird when you're used to South American Spanish. Oh yeah, I bet. Like, there's so many dialect things that are different, and slang terms and way things are different. Like, I think some of the formalities of language tend to stay with nations where the language was kind of imported, basically. Like where Spanish colonization or whatever led to the language being adopted somewhere else, and so they taught them this way of speaking, and then maybe Spain's format for the language changed and South America's didn't. Like, there's definitely a couple of things in Spanish where it's like, is it vosotros or something? That's like a really formal and archaic way of speaking Spanish, of like referring to a group of people or something, and it'd be like saying thee and thou in English, more or less. But that's just what the formal way of talking to somebody used to be back in like the early days of Spain. I say the early days, you know what I mean? Like, yes, vosotros. Yeah, that was it. Because we were watching El Ministerio del Tiempo a while ago, back when it was on Netflix, which I don't think it is anymore. And there's a character there who's like from the, I want to say like the 6th century or something. Like he's from maybe not that far back, but he's like from a much earlier time. And or he's from like the 12th century or something like that. But he talks in a really formal way to some of the people in the modern age, and everyone has to keep correcting him so that he doesn't sound like he's clearly from the past. In Latin America, you don't use that anymore. Yeah, and there's like different ways of doing it. Linguistic drift is a good way of putting it. When you learn, you learn language in a more formal way because you're learning it through like a school system or something, and then you just don't know the slang, and so you're talking to everybody like, "How are you today? Do you enjoy football?" The capital of Great Britain is London. How do you do? Exactly. How do you do, fellow kids? Where is the library? The problem with Arsenal is they always try to walk it in. That might be why Americans don't have a British accent. Yeah. People in Britain spoke a certain way, and then the great vowel shift happened after American independence happened, I think. So you ended up with a lot of people's accents in the UK changing, and a lot of American accents shifting in completely different ways. Shots fired to football fans. I mean, that's a reference to a line from the IT Crowd where I think Moss is getting some kind of like crash course in how to speak to people about sports. I really need to rewatch Garth Marenghi's Dark Place at some point, thinking of just like UK comedies that Richard Ayoade is in. And then transatlantic accents. Yes, yeah, the very singing in the rain kind of round tones, round tones. Been rewatching Garth Marenghi recently. It's so good. I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards. I may be one of the few people who've written more books than they've read. It's so good. Just all of the piece to camera stuff, like the obvious, like the hospital horror drama thing is great, but I just love all of the documentary stuff that they're doing, like the mockumentary stuff. It's so funny. Absolutely incredible show. All the regional accents in the UK as well. Oh, yeah. Could you hear my best American accent? No. No, I don't tend to do accents and impersonations of anything, because that gets into tricky territory pretty quickly, but also I'm just horrendously embarrassed by it more than anything. I love the transatlantic accent so much I've done plays and radio work with it. That's awesome. That's so cool. Love UK and Irish accents when you walk down the road and you get a completely different one. Well, yeah, I mean, people in the UK and Ireland tend to like move around a fair bit as well. Like, I spent 5 years of my life up in Leeds, and my dad's family is from Manchester, so like I grew up in the south and I had a very kind of southern accent, and it got more neutral, I think, as I got older. I probably sounded like a proper Hampshire kid for a while, and then now my accent is a lot more neutral, but yeah, I'd pick up ways of speaking in Leeds, not necessarily the accent, but like the idioms and the rhythm of speech up there is very different. You went the other way from south to Leeds? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I did. But now, yeah, then I came back to the south from Leeds, I guess. Finally built your first custom tree in Creative. Felt so proud. Been putting it off, trying to build trees for so long. It's difficult. Like, it feels weird when you're so used to building structures. To build anything organic like that and to try and... You're either building something that mimics a real-life tree, which is a very difficult thing to do, because organic shapes don't always come too naturally. Either that, or you're trying to build something that fits your Minecraft world and looks typical of Minecraft while still feeling like a more natural tree shape, and that's such an interesting balancing act, you know? Oh yeah, that was the I don't know if somebody mentioned it in chat, but the yeah, you travel 150 miles, the regional accent has changed twice, and bread rolls are called something completely different. That was something I read online the other day. There was somebody complaining about, or not complaining about it, but joking about it, saying like, yeah, you go 40 miles down the road and bread rolls are called something different. Number of different accents that fit in the UK is wild to me. Yeah, I think maybe from an anthropological level, it makes sense. Maybe because of like accents developing before people had access to more widespread transportation, and so accents sort of develop in little bubbles, and you end up with people talking in very different ways because like the fastest way to get to the next town over is like half a day's ride by horse, so people didn't really go anywhere. not to the extent that we do now, where like it only takes you a few hours to drive halfway up the country. So I feel like that must have something to do with it. It's like how in Minecraft you never really used to transfer anything from your base to anywhere else without a great deal of hard work or just building new farms at the new location, whereas now we have Elytra and we can go anywhere we want to. Oh, we're now having the pop soda fizzy drinks. Is it the southern states in the US where like everything is Coke? Like regardless of whether it's the Coca-Cola company drinks or not, but like if you wanted some kind of like carbonated beverage, you'd be like, hey, pass me a Coke, and they'd be like, well, what do you want? And you'd be like, I'll take a Sprite. And you're like, that's not the same thing. All Coke down here? Yeah, uh-huh. This is what I learned from watching Rhett and Link, is they occasionally have these, like, sidebar tangents into what it's like being a Southern boy. This is part of the US way, yep. What flavor Coke you want? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, there are different flavors of Coke, because you have, like, cherry Coke or Coke with lemon or whatever, but still, that's a... See, where I grew up, it was just fizzy drinks. was the generic term. But I think, I don't know, maybe in the UK it might also be like a class thing as well. I feel like fizzy drinks always feels like the more posh way of saying it. I feel like I've started saying soda more frequently just because that's what my partner calls it, and it's usually them that I'm talking to when I talk about any kind of carbonated beverage. If you want to be posh here, you say soft drinks. Makes sense. Soft drinks feels like what it would say on a menu as well, right? Because then the other option on the menu is hard drinks, which is your adult beverages. It's like calling every car you see a Chevy, yeah. An interesting philosophy. Soft drinks aren't alcohol, yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like soft drinks as opposed to hard drinks, and hard drinks are the alcoholic ones. Like hard cider. Which in the UK is just cider, because we don't really go for, like, apple cider in the sense of it being a mulled apple juice kind of vibe. It's much more just, like, alcoholic cider. Some parts of the country do just call every truck a Ford. Yeah, that's true. That's also true. But then that's the American brand thing as well, is, like, every tissue being a Kleenex, right? Every medical plaster being a Band-Aid. Every van is a transit, though. There you go. Every copier is a Xerox. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, does a Cokes is just an extreme version of that. I feel like the thing with Coke is that cola is sort of synonymous with Coke from a certain age, because most people are very specific about the type of cola they want to drink, and most of the time it's Coke. I feel like people don't use Pepsi exactly the same way, but then I feel like Coca-Cola has a very specific image for, like, being associated with cola, and there's nothing that really tastes like cola. So saying what flavor Coke do you want feels really strange, because it's like Coca-Cola. That guy's... I was going to say, that guy's just leaving the village now. He's had an argument with someone. He's off. Something about the word cola just doesn't roll off the tongue. People avoid saying it. I mean, yeah, it's a two-syllable word compared to one syllable. It's like having a nickname. Have a Pepsi Coke. Yeah, there you go. There you go. The villager has gone looking for some cola. I'm gonna probably grow a bit more spruce just to grow the podzol back here, because I always hate having dirt in the middle of this giant patch of podzol. But also so I can maybe farm up a few more free-range emeralds and get the farmer to trade me some more golden carrots, so I don't have to keep eating apples. Grew up drinking Diet Pepsi. I just don't like Coke, so it's important that I get the right thing when I go to a restaurant. See, I've never been able to tell much of the difference between them. Like, if you give them to me side by side, sure I can, but, like, if you gave me a Pepsi and told me it was Coke, I would not be able to tell you lying. I've just never had that sensitivity of palate when it comes to that stuff. Maybe I feel like if you gave me... If I liked Coke and you gave me a Pepsi and I tasted something was off about it, I'd probably just assume that I was forgetting what Coke tasted like, or it was something else I'd eaten, that, or just like how I was feeling about it on the day that made me feel like it wasn't right. But for the most part, yeah, I just never really noticed the difference. If it's a carbonation thing, then yeah, maybe. But your country say coca like Coke? Yeah. Un canette de coca is what I was told is a can of Coke in French, I think. Again, I'm so behind on like any kind of languages. Do carbonated drinks make your eyes water after you open it? I mean, if you're like inhaling the fumes from it, then maybe. But I don't make a habit of opening them right next to my face all the time. I still think of tissue as Kleenex before anything else, and there's a lot of that in my vocab. So, but I'm American Southern, so that may play into it. It probably does, yeah. I feel like the US in particular has a certain fixation with certain brands being synonymous with certain products. And Kleenex is one of the ones that I've noticed being pretty much widespread. I mean, we have Kleenex tissues in the UK. They are probably the most popular brand of tissues, but we still just call them tissues. And yes, Aaron Glows, Band-Aids was my other example, yeah. If you don't want to be specific, you don't say coca, you say refresco. Oh, okay. Can I have it's like a refresher, I guess. Not a Band-Aid says, did you call me? You must lurk in some very specific chats just to turn up when these conversations happen. It's my time. Beverages and refreshments, yeah. What's a Q-tip called? Cotton bud. Is I believe what they are generically known as. Or earbuds, I guess. But then I think of earbuds as being like the type of headphones. Although it probably gets the name from cotton buds. Or a cotton swab, potentially, but that kind of implies the action. And I feel like you can be swabbed with something that isn't necessarily on a little plastic stick. A cotton buddy. Imagining one with like a little cartoon face, the tongue hanging out. Ziploc bags just being, yeah, sandwich bags. Or like freezer bags. Like how toothbrush implies brushing. Yeah, but what else do you do with a brush? You brush. Is Q-tip a brand? It may be. Not a common one over here, but that might be a UK, US thing. Zipper-type bags are apparently called zip-top bags by the TSA. There you go. Yeah, Tupperware for plastic storage containers. That's probably a good UK example. Is people will call them Tupperware even though I don't know how many people actually own Tupperware products. Resealable storage container. If I can move to any country, where would I go? It's difficult to say because, like, I like it in the UK. Even at times when the political climate is not to my liking, the just, like, style of living here, I just kind of like. And my family is here and everything. And I haven't spent long enough anywhere else except the US to really judge what it would be like to live somewhere permanently. Like, I loved Madrid when we went to visit, but apparently everybody just leaves Madrid in August and September because it's too hot. We visited at the end of September, and it was just coming down from a heat wave, but like all of the inhabitants of Madrid are basically like, no, we're off to the coast. Because it's like very central Spain, and it gets very hot there. But, like, I don't know if I would want to live in the US. The US is very intense to me. Band-Aid rather than bandage, whatever they're technically called. Yeah, adhesive plasters is what I think of them as. Intense, how so? Socially, politically, the fact that you need a car to get basically anywhere. And there's some walkable cities in the US, but there's definitely a lot of emphasis on big car infrastructure out west, where my partner's family is from, which is the only other place we'd be likely to move to. Yeah, healthcare in the US. How car happy we are in the US, yeah. We'd love to live somewhere that electric car infrastructure was common, standardized, and better available, because we have a plug-in hybrid. We're not ready to go full electric yet because we don't have a place we can charge it at home, but charging publicly in the UK, like, I just haven't figured out where is the best place to do it locally, because there are so many different types, and so many of the chargers just don't work. In the US, we seem to try and make things as unwalkable as possible sometimes, yeah. Is electric vehicle charging brand specific? There are a few different ones, depending on the speed that you charge and the type of vehicle. Like, Tesla has its own proprietary stuff, but the ones I use are a Type 2 charging socket standard. But you have to figure out whether or not the place you're parking has any of those, if any of them are available at the time, etc., right? And, like, last time I went to try and charge the car, it was like I was running errands. I went to a couple of stores that were in the same kind of industrial estate kind of space, and I tried to charge my car while I was there, but the charger just wouldn't start, and any of the other ones that would be available had been vandalized. So it's like, there's only so much I can do before I'm like, well, I guess I'm just using petrol today. It's a real shame. Basically, all cars have the same plug except Teslas. I think there's another type that's out there. I think I'm going to get an electric vehicle when I've learned to drive. I mean, the infrastructure for them is improving all the time. But part of the reason we didn't want to commit to going full electric is because it's not quite there yet. But the more people adopt that kind of stuff, and I think the more legislation gets brought in to push those types of vehicles and try and limit our reliance on fossil fuels and burning gasoline, I think it's going to encourage companies who provide that infrastructure to make it better available and better maintained. Is this the binging with Babbage theme music? I don't know. If you do ! Song in the chat, Pretzel will repeat the title of the last song just so you can look it up if you need to. Although occasionally you get unlucky and it does change right when you do that. But then you can scroll up in the chat. Went with a plug-in hybrid as well, getting 250 miles per gallon because I rarely drive far enough to use gas. Yeah, most of the time when I'm driving around here, it's just like into town and back, and we live on the north side of town. It takes like 10 minutes to get anywhere. Just convenient to have a car that can go greater distances if I need to go and visit family or whatever. It was so nice being able to travel, like, under our own schedule for Christmas this year. Like, you didn't even have to think twice about it, and I was like, oh, I see. This is why people own cars. Not having to worry about whether or not the trains were running. And drag your suitcase halfway across London to get the next train. And then inevitably get picked up from the train station by my parents anyway, you know. Alright, I'm going to head back to my base. Sausage has been online for a little bit. It's probably getting settled back in over at Sanctuary. Unfortunately, electricity production is not as green as most people think. No, but there are much greener ways of getting it, whereas fossil fuels, you can only get it one way. And obviously, like, eventually, yeah, all stuff is going to result in some kind of ecological damage, the difference being, like, how fast that stuff accelerates and what technology it can open up if we open our minds to something different. Like, how easy is it going to be to synthesize the ingredients needed for stuff like that in future, especially with stuff like 3D printing becoming more common. Obviously, like, I'm talking about different technologies here, but if you apply one style of thinking to the other product, instead of just assuming that we're going to be running gas cars for the rest of our species lifespan, you know. Progress isn't perfect, it's a step in the right direction. That's a good way of looking at it, I think. These things are always going to have a lot more nuance than people will tell you at first glance, but that's because people want to get their point across, you know? Why not just make nuclear-powered cars while we're at it? Well, because nuclear power isn't something that you can shrink down to this kind of scale, to my understanding, but again, I don't know much about that. I do know that it's probably time for me to wrap up my stream. Thank you for the conversation today, folks. I feel like it's been a lively one for the last little while, which makes a change from me just chopping trees in silence. We're going to raid somebody else here on Twitch, so please do stick around for the raid. It's always lovely to go and see somebody else stream in Minecraft. And if you're interested in something completely different, my partner is in the other room streaming what they usually do, which is writing out Lord of the Rings by hand using cool stationery and fountain pens and fun stuff like that. A little bit of drawing from time to time as well. Just a nice chill environment with adult language, so adult language warning. That's at twitch.tv/celeryman, which Ginger has just linked in the chat. Gemini Tay is currently streaming some sort of terraforming project, which I presume is on Hermitcraft. Yeah, it's on Hermitcraft. Awesome. Working on the castle grounds, it looks like. So we're going to go raid Gem. And I'm going to get an episode edited so I can get that out to you folks tomorrow. It'll be on YouTube as per usual, around 11 a.m. UK time, which is like 3 in the morning on the west coast of the US. So hopefully you'll be able to wake up to a fun episode if you're in that neck of the woods. And expect a stream on Thursday. I'm pretty sure everything should be happening as normal on Thursday. And then on Sunday we have D&D again. And then next Tuesday we'll be back. But after that I'll be away for a few weeks. So hopefully you'll enjoy. Have yourselves a great day. I'll chat to you on Thursday. Have a good one. Bye for now.